This is a national disgrace. The words echoed through living rooms and offices across the country as Americans everywhere tried to process the unthinkable. The news was not just shocking, it was unprecedented, a moment that would be remembered for years to come. We will not let Boeing fail. The resolve was clear from boardrooms to factory floors. The American spirit, tested time and again, was now facing one of its greatest challenges. We will not let American workers be held hostage. The unity among workers was palpable, their determination unwavering as they stood shoulder to shoulder, demanding answers and action. This is a direct attack on our country, and it will be met with strength. The message was clear. America would not back down in the face of adversity. President Trump's words exploded across social media, echoing a nation stunned by the news. Boeing, a titan of American industry, was halting all U.S. production. The announcement sent ripples through every corner of the country, from small towns to bustling cities. The silence in Boeing's factories sent shockwaves from Wall Street to Main Street. Investors watched in disbelief as markets tumbled, while families wondered what the future would hold. One moment, Boeing was the symbol of American manufacturing might. The next, it was a giant brought to its knees. The sight of grounded airplanes and empty workspaces was a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. News channels showed silent assembly lines and anxious workers outside factory gates. Reporters scrambled to make sense of the chaos, while families gathered around their televisions searching for hope. The immediate question, how could a company so integral to America simply stop? Analysts debated possible causes, but answers were few and far between. The answer was a tangled web of global politics and economic warfare. International tensions, supply chain disruptions, and fierce competition had all played a part in bringing the giant to a standstill. President Trump's furious reaction captured the raw emotion of a country caught off guard, setting the stage for a national crisis. The world watched as America grappled with uncertainty, its confidence shaken but not broken. As the nation held its breath, the fate of hundreds of thousands of workers and America's economic security hung in the balance. In that moment, the country was united by anxiety, hope, and a determination to rise again, no matter the odds. To truly grasp the magnitude of the shock that rippled through the nation, you must first understand what Boeing represents, not just as a company, but as a symbol of American innovation and industrial might. Boeing is the single largest exporter in the United States, a critical engine for the national economy. Its aircraft connect continents, its technology powers progress, and its presence is felt in nearly every corner of the globe. Its success ripples outward, impacting not just trade and the strength of the dollar, but also the stability of countless jobs and the health of entire industries. Boeing directly employs over 100,000 people in high-skilled jobs, from engineers to assembly line workers. But its reach extends far beyond its own walls, touching more than 12,000 American suppliers, large and small businesses that depend on Boeing's continued success. For every Boeing job, many more are supported across the country, creating a vast web of economic interdependence. From the machinist in Seattle to the parts supplier in Kansas, livelihoods are intertwined with Boeing's fortunes. These jobs have built communities and supported families for decades, shaping the identity of towns and cities across America. Generations have relied on Boeing for stability and opportunity. Boeing's role in the defense industry makes it vital to national security, producing military aircraft and advanced technologies essential for the armed forces. Its innovations help protect the nation and support global peacekeeping efforts. This dual role, commercial and defense, cements its status as a company of strategic national importance, one that policymakers and citizens alike look to in times of uncertainty. The shutdown felt like a body blow to the entire country, a direct threat to livelihoods, to the dreams of workers, and to the promise of American industrial leadership that Boeing has long embodied. The empty factories were a stark reminder of how fragile even the mightiest pillars of the economy can be, and how quickly prosperity can turn to uncertainty. The silence from Boeing's production lines echoed a broken promise, a pause in the heartbeat of American industry that left a nation holding its breath, waiting for the engines to roar back to life. The most devastating impact of the Boeing shutdown was on its workforce. Overnight, hundreds of thousands faced an uncertain future. not just Boeing employees, but workers at thousands of suppliers. In towns like Everett and North Charleston, families wondered how they'd pay their bills or save for their children's futures. Local businesses braced for a sharp decline as the ripple effect threatened entire regional economies. The loss of so many well-paying jobs meant less money spent in communities, triggering further layoffs and closures. On a national level, the shutdown delivered a staggering blow to the U.S. economy, with economists warning of a potential recession. The stock market reacted with panic, fearing the wider consequences of Boeing's collapse. For families, the crisis was deeply personal: stress, fear, and shattered dreams. The shockwave was about more than numbers. It was about lives upended in an instant. The Boeing shutdown was the dramatic climax of a long, bitter trade war between the US and China. Years of escalating tariffs and retaliation put Boeing, America's largest exporter, in the crosshairs. The final blow: China canceled all Boeing orders, a strategic move to inflict maximum pain and force US concessions. Losing the Chinese market devastated Boeing, creating a catastrophic hole in its finances. Combined with rising costs and supply chain disruptions, it was a perfect storm. Boeing was left with a backlog of planes and a collapse in demand. Continuing production was no longer viable. The decision to halt operations was a desperate measure, a direct result of geopolitical conflict. President Trump's reaction was fueled by the realization that his own trade policies had contributed to the crisis. The Boeing shutdown became a painful symbol of how trade wars can backfire, damaging the very economy they aim to protect. With U.S. production lines silent, Boeing's leadership scrambled for a lifeline. The once bustling factories now stand eerily quiet, a stark reminder of the challenges ahead. Redirecting planes built for China to other markets like India and Southeast Asia was considered, but refitting aircraft and negotiating new deals takes time and money. Each plane requires specific modifications to meet the needs of new buyers, adding layers of complexity to an already daunting task. Finding new buyers is a long-term solution, but it doesn't solve the immediate cash crisis. The financial strain is palpable, with every passing day intensifying the urgency for a quick fix. Boeing also looked to its defense and space divisions, seeking new government contracts to offset commercial losses. These sectors, though promising, require time to ramp up and cannot instantly replace lost revenue from commercial sales. This would mean a major strategic pivot away from passenger jets, a move that could redefine Boeing's identity in the aerospace industry. Ultimately, Boeing's survival may depend on a government bailout. Such assistance could provide the necessary breathing room to stabilize operations and plan for the future. The Trump administration faced immense pressure to intervene, with a financial rescue package now a real possibility. The political landscape is charged, with debates raging over the implications of such a bailout. Such a move would be controversial but might be necessary to prevent collapse. The decision could set a precedent for how major corporations are supported in times of crisis. Boeing is scrambling for private solutions, but its fate may rest in Washington's hands. The company is exploring every avenue, from private loans to strategic partnerships, yet the clock is ticking. The company's future hangs on its ability to adapt, and on political will. The decisions made in the coming weeks will shape Boeing's trajectory for years to come. The stakes could not be higher. The world watches as Boeing navigates this critical juncture, with the outcome impacting not just the company, but the entire aerospace industry. In global business, one company's crisis is another's opportunity. As Boeing stumbled, Airbus, its European rival, moved to seize the moment. With Boeing sidelined, Airbus could capture a commanding share of the Chinese market, securing orders for years to come. This shift could fundamentally alter the balance of power in aerospace, making it hard for Boeing to recover. Meanwhile, China's own COMAC saw a chance to accelerate its rise. The C919, designed to compete with Boeing and Airbus, could gain traction as China pressures airlines to buy domestic. A surge in orders would help COMAC mature, even as it still relies on Western components. The crisis benefits both Boeing's current rival and a future one, reshaping the global industry. The skies are about to get much more crowded and competitive. Canceling Boeing orders was a powerful move, but China is taking a risk. Its airlines need new planes to meet soaring demand, but cutting off Boeing creates a supply bottleneck. Airbus can't fill the gap quickly, its production is maxed out. Chinese airlines may face shortages, higher prices, and slower growth. COMAC isn't ready to step in. It still depends on Western technology, which could be restricted in a trade war. China's move could backfire, harming its own aviation ambitions. The ban is likely a high-stakes negotiating tactic, not a permanent policy. Both nations need each other, creating powerful incentives to find a solution. The Boeing crisis is a pivotal moment in the high-stakes game between the US and China. It signals a new era where national security and economic policy are deeply intertwined. The shutdown challenges the idea that economic ties prevent conflict, showing that interdependence can be weaponized. Companies built global supply chains for efficiency, but the crisis exposes their vulnerability. Expect a shift toward more resilient, less globalized supply chains. The crisis also highlights a clash of ideologies: US free market capitalism versus China's state-directed economy. The US is now considering unprecedented interventions, blurring lines between private enterprise and state interest. Ultimately, this is about who sets the rules for the 21st century global economy. The Boeing shutdown is a dramatic move on the global chessboard, forcing a reckoning. The outcome will shape the future of trade, politics, and the world order. For ordinary Americans, the Boeing shutdown is not a distant problem. It's hitting Main Street now. It's a direct threat to jobs, with layoffs at Boeing and suppliers just the beginning. A prolonged shutdown could trigger a wider downturn, impacting industries from retail to real estate. The crisis is a wake-up call about our economic security and dependence on global supply chains. There will be a growing debate about bringing manufacturing back to the US, even if it means higher prices. The Trump administration faces pressure to act, negotiating with China and possibly bailing out Boeing. The story forces us to ask what kind of economy and country we want to be, globally connected or more self-reliant. The decisions made now will help define America's path in a rapidly changing world.